Longreach out of Winton. This road's a little bit better than some of the roads we've been on lately. Like quite a bit bloody better. Coming into Longreach. First time I've been back here in about 40 years. I used to work on a station out at Aramac and come in here for singing. Camp here tonight somewhere and go and have a look at the Stockman's Hall of Fame tomorrow, because it's a bit late for it tonight. I got to see it about 40 years ago when I was here. Hadn't been open that long, and now I'm taking my boy to see it. So we'll go in here and ask around and see where we can camp just out of town tonight. Well, this is where we're going to camp the night. Looks like it's a pretty popular place. Just out of Longreach on the Thompson River. We're going to have a bit of a look across the bridge.
Yeah, just someone who's kind of like not necessarily going to be super helpful with Anyway,
so we're just going to find a spot away from all this, somewhere up the creek a little bit, to roll the swag out, away from everyone. And in the morning we're going to go and have a look at the Stockman's Hall of Fame. And I reckon that rain that's been following us isn't too far away too, because you can really smell the Gidgee here tonight. Going for a bit of a morning walk, Thompson River, just out of Longreach campsite. And this mob just flew in. There's a couple of pelicans up there as well. Oh, the corellas. Oh, there they go. Corellas as far as you can see, corellas. And a magpie. Yeah, just out of Longreach, the Qantas Founders Museum. think it was actually started in Winton. But they've got a museum in Longreach. It's not open at the moment, it's a bit early. We'll do a drive through. A flying kangaroo. Queensland and Northern Territory Air Service. Hall of Fame. Don't know if it's open yet. Something I remember doing on the station, carrying your saddle back at the end of the day back to the tackman. Like they're open. Sign out there. We didn't actually record inside the Stockman's Hall of Fame because I wasn't sure that it was allowed or not. Many years ago I was working on a station out of Lightning Ridge, New South Wales. I was sitting on a motorbike. I was pushing a mob of sheep across a ploughed paddock, and I was watching a road train full of cattle go past on the road. And it inspired me to write this. I'm a bloke who works out in the bush, and I have done so for years. I'll join my mates around the bar for a yarn and a couple of beers. I've had jobs in the city, there's many things I've tried, but I prefer the work in the outback where the stockmen used to ride. But the stockmen, they don't ride there anymore. They got jackaroos and ringers by the score. And the old bushman will tell you there's many times they've cried, cause they're roaring round on trail bikes where the stockmen used to ride. Travel through the outback and you've seen what I have seen. Do you dream about the old days, how the country might have been? Now they've cleared the stands of timber where the Mickeys used to hide, and there's tractors tearing up the ground where the stockmen used to ride. But the stockmen, they don't ride there anymore. They got jackaroos and ringers by the score. Tell you there's many times they've cried, cause there's tractors tearing up the ground where the stockmen used to ride. I'm not trying to knock the modern ways, please don't get me wrong, just reliving the memories of the days that have long gone, as a tribute to our pioneers and the bushmen that have died. But the drover drives a road train now where the stockmen used to ride. But the stockmen, they don't ride there anymore. They got jackaroos and ringers by the score. And the old bushman will tell you there's many times they've cried, cause the drover drives a road train now where the stockmen used to ride. And they're flying round in choppers where the stockmen used to ride. And I think that's what they call progress, now the old stockmen have died. just coming into Ilfracombe, which is between Longreach and Barcaldine. Lots of old machinery beside the road, all the way along the town. So in Barcaldine, opposite the Shakespeare Hotel, where I have played music in the past, and the Artesian. There's a bit of a monument to the Great Shearers' Strike, 1891. Might be a bit hard to read, but there's a bigger plaque up here. Yeah, you can probably read that. I don't need to say anything, it says it all. And then we'll go over here to the Tree of Knowledge, where it's pretty much the birth of the Australian Labor Party. We go inside. There is the Tree of Knowledge. We'll get in there in a minute. There's the plaque outside. Pretty much where they started the Australian Labor Party. We'll go inside and see the actual tree. I don't know what all the banners are up here for. It was under the Tree of Knowledge, next to the railway station, that an organisation was formed in 1891. There you go. Barkey railway station. Alright, we're not allowed in there, and I walked right past this before, but there is the Tree of Knowledge. Where the Shearers formed the Australian Labor Party in 1891. Just driving along and we've come across some brolgas. Looks like parents and a young one. Open your window down, open your window. Yeah, thanks. We've continued our journey from Barcaldine east. Come through Jericho and now Alpha, and next stop will be Emerald. We might pull up in Emerald for a feed. Emerald 167, Rocky 433. Probably camp in Rocky tonight, or just out of Rocky. Camped last night at Rockhampton, a place called Kershaw Gardens, which is very popular. Place is full. It's a free camp. Lots of caravans. Nice little creek down there. Here we have the classic Australian bin chicken. There you go, mate. We've got sugarcane. Now we are in coastal Queensland when you see sugarcane. Hopefully that'll go into the Bundy factory and make more Bundy for me. Well, we made it to the Bundy Rum Distillery. And this is where I'm going to end this video, because we've got to, after we visit here, we've got to go and visit some family and friends. But that's not the end of our trip. We've still got to go back down through New South Wales, through South Australia and across the Nullarbor, so that will be the next video. So that's the end of this one, right by the big Bundy bottle.